Don't worry, that just means it's recording. Well, it should be recording now. Lovely. Hello. Afternoon. Thank you for coming. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Lisa Moore and I run Fit for More in Hames Heath, which is a personal training studio. It's quite a small studio, a membership, so it's not a drop-in, it's not a gym, so we haven't got loads of equipment, and we keep everything quite small and intimate, so it's all about trying to get something where you can become part of a team and work together. I started the Lunch and Learn idea at the beginning of the year because I just thought it was a good way of getting people together. Gives me a chance to share my knowledge about health and fitness and nutrition and things like that in a different environment, really. Sometimes it's quite hard when you're coming to a class to sort of talk about things. You can give hints and tips, but this gives me the opportunity to share a bit more with all of you and give you the opportunity to ask questions and find out a bit more. So please ask questions. We've got plenty of time. Hopefully the talk will last about 20 minutes and we are in here till about 1:30, so please ask. If I don't know the answer, then I'll tell you I don't know the answer, but I can always find out. So today I'm going to talk about metabolism, which is really a huge, huge subject. So I'm going to have to keep it quite high level. I could go down into all of the science and all of the hormones and endocrine systems and everything else, but we're not going to talk about that amount of detail at the moment. But the first thing is what is metabolism? What is metabolism? It's defined as the chemical processes occurring within a living cell or organism that are essential for the maintenance of life. Now, the important thing for you to think about there is the maintenance of life, because this is where the metabolism is annoying. Your metabolism is actually your saviour. Your metabolism is what keeps you alive. It will look after you and it will do everything it possibly can to make sure you survive. And it will all become clear as we talk through. So there are thousands of chemical processes happening all the time in the body. As we sit here, there are so many different chemical processes going on. Now, where shall I start with metabolism? Probably the easiest thing is to talk about dieting, because I would imagine most of you around the table are here because perhaps you've struggled with dieting in the past or struggled with losing weight or don't quite understand what it's all about. But dieting, what is dieting? Generally, we think of dieting as not eating very much and cutting down on the amount of food we eat. Problem is nowadays, dieting is don't eat this, eat that. Don't eat that, eat this. Eat this then, but don't eat it there. Eat that in the morning, but not in the evening. Eat that in the evening, but don't eat it in the morning. Don't eat anything for a day, or 2 days, or 3 days, or eat loads at this time of day and not that time of day. Don't eat this food, eat that food. Don't eat that food, eat this food. That's how we're bombarded the whole time with what we should, what we shouldn't eat. And it doesn't work. It's become so complicated. It's ridiculous. No wonder everybody's going, oh, I don't know. You just have to look in the daily papers. I think the Daily Mail had an article on, it was over the weekend sometimes, about losing weight in your sleep. That's the latest. So you've just got to sleep and you'll lose weight. That's absolutely, it works. But metabolism is unique. It's as unique as your fingerprint. We are all completely unique. And I'm sure that you've met people that have done Weight Watchers and have lost stones, pounds, done really, really well, kept it off, amazing. And I'm sure you've met people who have been to Weight Watchers, lost weight, put it back on, lost weight, put it back on, lost weight, put it back on and more, lost weight, put it back on and more and more and more. And you've met people that have gone on the Atkins diet, you've met people that have gone on the Cambridge diet. The problem is, because we are all unique, one diet will work for one person, but it won't work for you, or it won't work for that person. So sadly, it would be fantastic to be able to stand here and go, here is the answer, this is the way you do it. But there isn't an answer. The answer is you need to find out what your own unique way of metabolism and getting your metabolism working right. So I'm sorry if you thought I was going to tell you the answer. I can't. But what I will tell you is some science behind what happens with metabolism. So there's this dieting scenario that goes on, that we go, need to lose weight, so I'm not going to eat very much and I'm going to exercise more. First time you do it, brilliant, works, great. You've lost that weight, you feel fantastic. Life carries on, you don't quite get to the gym, you don't quite walk as much, perhaps you come off your diet a little bit, you start eating normally, weight creeps back on, maybe a little bit more. So you think, right, need to get rid of this weight, go back on the diet, so you eat less than you were eating when you were eating less. You're exercising more, so maybe you're going to the gym 4 times a week, starting to go out for a run every morning. You lose weight, but it's harder to lose that weight. You feel more hungry, you feel more tired, you feel cravings, you want to have something sugary, want to have something salty. But you do lose the weight, that's really good. Then life comes along, put it back on again, and a bit more. So you do the same again. Eat even less. You're hardly eating anything now. Lettuce leaf for breakfast, lettuce leaf for lunch, maybe a tiny bit of fish and broccoli for the evening. You're going to the gym every single day. You're lifting weights. You're doing high intensity training. You're losing weight, but it's taking a really, really long time. You're feeling fed up. You're feeling depressed. You're feeling stressed. Your metabolism is going, what the hell is going on here? She's starving me. And she's making me exercise a lot. So I am your saviour and I am going to keep you alive. So it slows down your metabolic rate and it sends messages to your brain to go, you're hungry. Hello, you're hungry. So you need food. So you feel hungry all the time. You start craving sugar, salt. Sugar because it's really quick to get into the body and that's going to give you that energy straight away. It's going to tell you you're hungry so that you start eating more food. And it's going to slow down your energy because then you won't burn so much. That's why you feel tired. That's why you feel sluggish. Then you start to feel a bit stressed, a bit fed up, a bit depressed. But your metabolism has done its job. It saved you. So, question. You get to that point, what are you going to do? You're going to eat less and exercise more again? Or do you think your metabolism is just going to do exactly the same thing? It's going to go, look, I know what I'm doing. Your willpower will not work. If you eat less and exercise more, I'm going to hold back even more fat. I'm going to let you have even less energy. And I'm going to make you feel really hungry all the time and horrible and miserable. So if you do the same thing that you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. I'm sure you've heard that expression before. They say it in all sorts of different ways. So if you always do the same thing, you'll always get what you've always got. So do something different. If you've got to that stage, what's happened is you come into this metabolic compensation. So you need to start being aware of what's going on in your body. So are you feeling hungry? And how often are you feeling hungry? Are you craving food? What are you craving? When are you craving it? And what do you do with those cravings? Do you get that willpower out and go, I'm not going to eat that chocolate. I am not going to eat that chocolate. I am going to eat that chocolate. And then you'll eat all of it rather than like 1 or 2. It's okay. And your energy levels. Do you wake up in the morning and jump out of bed? Ta-da! Feel fabulous till about 11 o'clock. And then you feel like this. And the rest of the day you feel like that. You feel tired. Do you wake up in the morning and think, oh, I feel like this anyway, I feel really tired. You've got no energy for the whole of the day. And actually whatever you do doesn't give you your energy back. You are in metabolic compensation. So your metabolism is compensating for everything you do. Think about your sleep patterns. Do you sleep well? Do you fall asleep quickly or do you wake up in the night? Do you wake up early in the morning? Do you have digestive issues, anxiety, attacks, depression, that sort of thing? All of that relates back to your metabolism in some shape or form. Your hypothalamus, your adrenal glands, your thyroid, all of those are slightly out of whack. It's not necessarily about your metabolism slowing down or speeding up. They've done tests on clinically obese people compared to skinny, fit people, and sometimes the obese people's metabolic rate is fast, it's high, and the skinny person is slow and they have a low metabolism. And it can be the other way around. So again, remember, we're all completely unique. So it isn't necessarily that you've got a slow metabolism because you're overweight, it's that your metabolism has gone into compensation. So, how would you feel about eating less and exercising less? Does that sound quite good? Or does that sound, oh, I couldn't possibly do that because then I won't lose weight? Because we've been told for years, exercise more, eat less. Or the other alternative, which I think is a nicer one, is eat more, exercise more. So if we eat more, your metabolism is going to take itself away from those hunger and cravings, because it's going to go, excellent, lots of food, we don't need to be hungry, we don't need to crave. You're exercising more because you're putting more food into your body. Your metabolism is saying, I have enough energy, so I can have that energy to exercise. Plus, if you're going along that route of exercise more, eat more, exercising more is going to bring its benefits as well, because you're going to be doing exercise that's going to increase your cardiovascular system. When you do aerobic type exercise, if you do any type of exercise, you'll start getting endorphins and adrenaline, so your mood will lift, you'll feel better. If you're doing weight training or high intensity exercise, those endorphins are really going to be running through your body. So you're going to be increasing your muscle tissue, which muscle tissue will burn more than fat tissue. So you're actually feeling in a better place if you're exercising more and eating more. But if you've been a bit of a serial dieter over years and your hunger, energy and your cravings are all over the place, you might have gone into phase 2, which is metabolic resistance. Now this is when the metabolism has put its foot down and said, I'm not having any more of this. Whatever you do, I'm going to keep you where you are. Because if I keep you where you are, I know that you're going to survive, that you're going to be alive. That's a harder one. And that's when the exercise less, eat less scenario may help. But remember, I'm not telling you, you must exercise more, you must exercise less. This is unique for you, and you have to try what works for you. But if you eat less, okay, the metabolism might get a bit panicky going, oh, I haven't got enough food. But if you're exercising less, the metabolism will probably say, actually, that's okay, because it's not quite as much coming in, but there's not quite as much coming out. So I'll just back off here. And that's when it will start to work in a better way. And exercising less, I don't mean just sit down and watch telly. I mean exercising less, which is walking more, being more active, doing things like yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, weight training, but not doing weight training where you're lifting really heavy weights and you're doing high intensity HIIT training, that sort of thing. So forget about going and doing a spinning class, forget about going and doing a HIIT class or a boot camp. You want to be doing something much less intense and kinder for your body, because that's also going to help by reducing your cortisol levels. And that's a whole nother subject that we could do for a whole nother 20 minutes. But cortisol is a stress hormone. And as I said in my detox, which was a couple of months ago, presentation, cortisol can be your friend. Cortisol can be a fat burning hormone if you've got your metabolism in the right place, but it can also be your enemy because it can be a fat storing hormone. So if you can reduce your cortisol levels, then that's going to be a benefit to you. Now the problem is there is a phase 3. So the phase 3 is, I'm going to call it metabolic failure, but that sounds like you're going to die, and it's not that at all. But that's when your metabolism has really got its knickers in a twist, and you're starting to suffer with thyroid problems, adrenal gland problems, depression, stress, and just everything is completely out of kilter. Now, If you've got to that stage, then that's when you really need to go and get some help. So talking about either going to your GP or going to a nutritional therapist or some sort of other therapist. They will look at providing supplements, they'll look at your diet, they'll look at your exercise, the whole thing. Personally, and this is a personal opinion, I would go down the alternative route first. That's just my opinion. I have nothing against the NHS, but I do see nearly every person, nearly every lady that comes to see me is being put on statins and thyroxine. And I think from the research that I've done, when they do the tests at the GPs, they tend to just do the test for 2 types of thyroid, and there are 3, if I'm right. There might be 4. And thyroid can change all the time. So, but this is my personal opinion. If you would rather go to the doctors, to the NHS, do that, or do both. But I think a nutritional therapist is really somebody that could help. They'll look at natural supplements and things like that. Metabolic failure, one of the things that you can do yourself without a nutritionist and a GP, is to look at your lifestyle. And this is a really hard one because I know how hard it is. I'm a single mum, run my own business, have 2 children. It's crazy. It's really difficult to fit different things in and change things. And if you're working full time, you've got young children, older children, grandchildren, it's really hard to change your lifestyle. But you can make small changes. Just little changes can make such a difference. So just being more active and moving more. Now, I recognised sort of this time last year actually that I hadn't got it right. I wasn't putting weight on, but I didn't feel very happy. So I didn't put weight on, but my body shape changed and I was sort of a bit, chummy. I'm going to cover it up now. And I knew that I had to do something because I felt anxious and a bit stressed out all the time. So one of the things that I did is I've changed my little morning routine, and I'm going to share it with you. Somebody gave me a book, and it was by Hal Elrod, and it's called The Miracle Morning. It's a really interesting book, so if you want to have a look at it, then buy it. And what do I do now? So I set my alarm an hour earlier. So I have my alarm going off at 5:45 every day. It's quite early. And it did take me a while to sort of not turn that alarm off. I allow myself 15-minute lie-in because that to me just gives me that psychological, okay, the alarm's going off at 5:45, but I don't have to get up till 6. So for me that works. Get up at 6, go downstairs, get dressed, go downstairs and have a glass of water. And then I take my laptop, I sit down with my earphones on and I do a guided meditation, which I do download from YouTube. I tried to do meditation on my own without anything, the deep breathing and sort of the affirmations. It didn't work because my brain was off. That was it. I was already planning all the things that I had to do. So I just needed something that I could listen to, somebody to talk me through, breathe in, breathe out, think about this, think about that. And so I do that for about 10 minutes and then I take the earphones off and I sit for a minute or so and I think about my day, visualise my day, or I think about what I would like my life to be like. Just those quite a few minutes just to think about things. And then I either go out for a run or I go out for a walk with the dog. If I'm going out for a run, the night before I go to bed, I've thought about, I'm going for a run, this is how far I'm going, this is where I'm going, and I get my running gear out. If I don't do that, and I think about it in the morning, I don't do it, I go for a walk. So I try and train myself, and I'm positive about it. I think, I'm going to go for a run tomorrow, and it's going to be great. So try and put a positive affirmation on that. So I go out for a run or a walk, come back, and I don't look at my phone, don't look at my laptop, don't turn the radio on. And those 3 things were really big for me because as soon as I used to get up, I'd pick my phone up, scrolling down, what am I doing today, what's happened on Facebook, who sent me an email. Don't do that. And I don't listen to Chris Evans in the morning anymore because I just found he'd wind me up. I like Chris Evans, but I just found it was all a bit, oh, go. And the peace and quiet has made such a difference, that I feel calmer and I feel more able to cope. And I'm sure that has helped my metabolism. I haven't increased my exercise and I haven't changed my food, but I feel better. And then the last thing that I do before I go to bed is I write a diary. So I write down everything that's happened during the day, all my thoughts. It took me a while to be honest about what I wrote down, because sometimes I think you think, well, what are other people going to see? But they're not, because it's yours. So I write everything down, good, bad, what I'm annoyed about, what I'm happy about, what I'm grateful for. And if I haven't done things that I need to do the next day, I'll write a list and put that somewhere else. And that's what I do. And that's really helped me. Whether it will work for you, I don't know, but it's worked for me. So it's an idea. So if you are at that point of metabolic resistance or metabolic failure, then there are some things that you can do to change that will help. Just going back to hunger, energy and cravings, those are the real 3 things that you need to think about. And that might be something that you could do at the end of the day before you write your diary, or even if you don't write your diary, is think about, during today, have I felt hungry? And is that just because actually it's coming up to lunchtime and I'm a bit hungry and food should be coming soon? Or is it that you're hungry at silly times of day, that you've had your breakfast and then you're suddenly hungry at 10 o'clock? How energised are you? We should all feel reasonably good energy throughout the day. You shouldn't really have all these lulls. There you are, you see, I said that food was coming.
Right, I have a bacon sandwich on Gary.
That's me.
Wonderful.
Was chicken and bacon.
It's just the best.
Sorry.
Then we have falafel wrap. There we
Thank
are.
you.
A certified chicken wrap.
Oh no, you missed a bit out. So think about your hunger, your energy and your cravings. Think about cravings. They might be because you're bored or you're stressed or you're tired, but it will be related back to your metabolism somewhere along the way. Now the thing that I didn't talk about actually, which I should have done, is food. I don't think that there are any really bad foods apart from corn syrup and some other bits and pieces like that.
Thorny swells. We've got 3
Yes, please. Wow. Thank you.
There we are. We've got 1 more needs one to come out. I'll be as quick as I can.
It comes down to you being a unique individual, and I think it's important to eat the food that you like rather than force yourself to eat the food that you don't really like but you think is good for you. But at the same time you might think, I don't like avocados or I don't like aubergines. Sometimes you just have to try them again. Like your parents say, just take 1 bite. And if you don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But our palates change as we get older, so it's worth trying different foods.
Another needs one. Is that you? Goat cheese salad. I have a smaller portion of the goat cheese salad. That's yours. And I have the chicken and bacon for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now, yeah.
So if you've been told recently that carbohydrates are bad, that gluten is bad, that you have to eat more protein, if that works for you, that's great. But if you can eat bread and you feel fine, then eat bread if you like bread. But if you find you eat lots of bread and you put weight on, then perhaps your metabolism is, out of kilter. So don't think of food as bad or good. It's really hard to get out of that mindset of, well, I mustn't have this and I mustn't have that. It's about finding what works for you and your unique metabolism. It's your fingerprint, remember. So be a detective. Keep a diary and have a look. You know, you're unique, so is your metabolism. If the eat less, exercise less is not working, then your metabolism is not working properly. So try eat less, exercise less. Eat more, exercise more. Mix it up. You know, maybe have a couple of weeks where you're going to do some high intensity weight training. You're going to go for some sprinting, and you're going to do some Tabata training and things like that. And you're going to eat loads. And then maybe the following week, do some yoga, do some Tai Chi, go for walks. So mix it up. Play with it and see what works. But generally, move more and be active. So things like having a Fitbit or a pedometer or a tracking device that will show you how much you're doing are really motivational. And you can see if you've had a day in the office or you've had a day sitting down, then you'll look and you go, oh my God, I've only done 4,000 steps. And then you'll have another day where you're out and about and you'll do 12,000 steps. So they're quite motivational, they're quite good. And also just keeping a track is quite nice. You know, you can download these things onto your PCs now, so you can see a graph, and it's quite nice to look at the end of the month and go, oh yes, it's up here the whole time. Of course you'll have glitches, and it's absolutely fine to have glitches. And from everything that I've told you, sometimes having a day where you eat loads and don't do anything is good for you. It really is. So I'll let you enjoy your lunch. If you've got any questions, I'm sure there are questions. I'm sure there are loads of questions. And I know I've kept this quite high level, and there's loads more to learn about metabolism, and I'm planning to do some more in-depth talks about perhaps the 3 phases in a bit more detail. And I'm going up to Manchester in May to the Metabolic Effect Summit, which is all about this. So I'll be learning a lot more, and I'd love to be able to share that with you. But if anybody would like a one-to-one with me over a coffee, over lunch, at the studio, I'll be very happy to spend some time with you. So just drop me an email, catch me at the end, let me know if you want to have a chat. If you've got any specific, more personal questions, I'd be very happy to do that. And now just enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. You not eating?
I didn't order anything.
Oh no.
I think that's some tips.